It's macroeconomics.
Yo, I'm MC Brad, and I'm here to teach you about supply and demand. The concept's a quickie, so listen up and I know you'll understand. Supply, it's how much firms are willing to produce and sell. These are the basic concepts, so know them well. Now listen close as my lesson be told. The price level determines how much will be sold, though the capacity of firms is also a condition. Word up! Demand is a measure of how much we will buy. All these other rappers, they ain't even try. Ing. Bam! Demand, it is also affected by a product's price, and that's just a slice of the forces that suffice to affect demand. Now let me get my man Andrew to expand.
Inflation is how our currency's value falls every year. In the hearts of the citizens, it does strike a great amount of fear. The CPI is the way to measure it. When there's low inflation, you got to treasure it. How does the price of a basket of goods change from year to year? I don't know. Ask the CPI if your financial future starts to seem unclear. Then we have the Producer Price Index, or PPI. Essentially the same, but this conversely will indicate supply. Inflation wrecks consumer spending. If we're not careful, it could be our ending. Hopefully the government addresses this dilemma. Instead of a tattoo, it will be like henna. Hard money policy's the way to go. It will fix your inflation worries one swift blow. Others call it tractionary, but that word's too big. I hope you like my show, I hope you like my gig. But now it's time to move onwards to a new jig. It's called unemployment, so here you go. Consider this deployment. 4 major types of unemployment. Much to your dismay, not enjoyment. Seasonal, frictional, structural, and cyclical. That third one's the NRU. It's quite typical. Structural is a mismatch between jobs and workers, like a sushi chef trying to flip some burgers. Then we got frictional, people looking for another job, so they are able to stop getting robbed. The Phillips curve compares it with inflation. It measures the well-being of our nation. Don't forget about underemployed person. They'd rather work full-time but can't, so its accuracy worsens. Also discourage workers mess up that stat. They've given up looking as a matter of fact. So that's unemployment for you and a rap. Yeah, it's brief, so what? I don't give a crap.
GDP, it's a measure of the total spending in the economy, you see. But how is it calculated, you may ask? Finding GDP is an easy task. Y equals C plus I plus G plus X minus IM. GDP can be determined in 3 ways, all of which in principle give the same result. They are the product or output approach, the income approach, and the expenditure approach. GDP increases, unemployment goes down, inflation goes up. GDP decreases, unemployment goes up, inflation goes down. Depression, recession. That's when it's time for some fiscal policy, taxation of a nation to influence the economy.
Expansionary or contractionary. Fiscal policy is purely reactionary. When your economy's in a recession and all out of whack, expansionary fiscal policy help your markets get back on track. Reduce taxes and increase spending. Classical economists, stop pretending. We all know your policies don't work. Just look at how those Keynesians smirk. Hayek disagrees, he believes in Say's law. Keynes, however, at that says ha. Hayek thinks the economy is self-correcting. Keynes of that is completely rejecting. So there you have Keynesian versus classical, 2 different views, conflictingly tactical. Next up, monetary policy. Go ahead, enjoy my anthology.
trade is in currencies contending to weaken against each other and attract foreign investment, to increase their nation's status and receive global impressment. The exchange rate is a price at which one nation's currency can be traded for another, because the worldwide market can't borrow from your brother. When one nation's currency weakens against others, they export more of their own goods and import less from others.
What do you do when you've got inflation? Turn off the trains, close up the station. Easy money policy, the other one's called tight. Easy shifts AD to the right, raise real GDP, it just might. Hard shifts AD the other way. Money supply drops every day. Monetary policy shifting dollars. What you know about that? I'm a baller. I'm here to preach and I'm here to teach you what an OMO is and what it does too. The Fed changes the interest rate and buys or sells some bonds. This money supply fluctuate and the economy responds. Easy fixes unemployment, hard does inflation. Then both money supply change, leading to relation of the people, cause we're all happy. Sometimes our raps don't sound too rappy. Next up, market structures is a cool topic. Some types of firms are more philanthropic.
In perfect competition, many firms have ambition, but none have a large share of the market. One firm produces, there are no excuses for changes in the market price, because I need not tell you twice, the firm's impact on supply is insignificant. For in perfect competition, that's not the case. Instead, the market becomes one big race between only a few firms that take first place. And the more every single entity produces, those profits there are, and everyone loses.
Factor markets have derived demand. Eventually, workers will take a stand and change the supply of worldwide labor. Next, unemployed might be your neighbor. The graph is made up of MPL and MPP. Market wage rate is optimal, you see. Technology, prices, and supply of other factors are all things that change this market. Miss Bergman covered it at the end of the year. Our minds were on summer, that much was clear. But we still learned it. Had an open book quiz. Wow, that was harder than I thought. Gee whiz. It's different than the labor markets. In your notes, you have to mark it. Entrepreneurship, land and labor. Capital too, but don't belabor. The capital is both human and physical. Please don't take my lyrics very literal. Macro, micro, supply, demand. All regulated by the government's hand. The market always seems to be some sort of free throw, but the Fed's the one that's really running the show. When econ knowledge is what's on demand, then Miss Bergman's here to help you understand.